Welcome everybody to another issue of Lights on MOR, where we talk with authors of MOR papers about their background and their interests and the ideas they developed in the paper. So today we're going to interview two scholars who won an award for Best Paper for Chinese Theory of Management by MOR. Congratulations on that wonderful award, and I'm sure it will bring lots of recognition and readership to your paper. And the paper is called Comes the Southern Revolution, the Reframing of Chinese Shan-zhai Towards Identity Change. And the authors are Shih-Chang at National Tsinghua University and Yu-Chun Chen at National Formosa University. Let me just start by asking, how did you get interested in the idea of reframing?
You can think that reframing is like putting a picture frame on a painting. So the picture itself, the fact it doesn't change, but the different frame can give your audience, your viewer, a complete different feeling.
Can you explain a little bit about what it means to say Shan-zhai?
I think the Shan-zhai, the term is certainly unfamiliar with to the people outside the Chinese. And to understand the term Shan-zhai, you can think that as a creative imitation. And actually, Shan-zhai is, as Yu-Chun just explained, mountain fortress. It comes from the Chinese novel. It explains how people from the bottom of the society, they fight against the elite or the authorities. So it is from the revolution from the bottom to the top, you know. And to use the Western language, Shan-zhai can be explained as an imitation, but with a great innovation. For example, now people may think about Huawei's iPhone. You know, Huawei's phone is quite popular around the world, but you can see Huawei's phone is a Shan-zhai of Apple iPhone. Or you can see that the Xiaomi's electric car is also quite popular now across the China. Xiaomi's car, the EV electric car, can also understood as a Tesla's Shan-zhai. It's not just imitate, but it's imitated with a lot of innovation. Yeah, so that's the term Shan-zhai means. It means it's a way of innovate. And when people with very limited resources, it had to copy, to learn, but that's not just enough. They will continue to innovate. If you compare with the DeepSeek, with the ChatGPT, DeepSeek is the Shan-zhai of ChatGPT with very limited resources, but maybe achieve a certain level of innovation. Yeah.
So a little bit of rebellion, a lot of innovation, you know, and so it's kind of mixing those qualities.
Yes. You know, Huawei's phone is not inferior to Apple's phone.
Right. And then you in the paper you talk about identity framing, and I know that the analogy of a frame on a picture, that makes a lot of sense. But what is it specifically to talk about identity framing?
Framing or reframing is not just about change how you describe your product. It's about change how you describe your who you are. So when you continuously to tell a new saying, new narrative to your audience, and over time the identity of you and your groups also transform along with it.
Yeah, I would like to add an example to further explain the identity change. If you think about compare the ChatGPT with the DeepSeek, you know, now it's quite familiar with around the world. When the DeepSeek was come to life, people said it's still the ChatGPT. It's a copycat of the ChatGPT. But gradually, people will understand more and more. And they said, ChatGPT said, we don't steal from the DeepSeek say we don't steal the ChatGPT. We just on his basis to continue to innovate. We are disruptive innovation. We are not copycat. When DeepSeek said we are disruptive innovation, DeepSeek's identity changed. And when people buy it, oh, it's the grassroots innovation, it's the autonomous innovation, or even it's a disruptive innovation. It might replace the ChatGPT. When people buy it, when people believe what DeepSeek said, DeepSeek's identity has been changed. So it is like from the language to change. When you buy the way they said, the identity has been changed. So reframing identity, they are close together. It's like the two sides of the same coin. Yeah.
And I noticed you talked about upgrading the identity.
Yeah.
And have you ever had people downgrade their identity?
Oh, I don't know. People won't downgrade his identity. Maybe people may downgrade identity. That means we are more in Chinese we say 接地气. That means we are more more speak to the bottom of the society. You know, when we say downgrade identity, that means we will to let our identity to be more acceptable to the bottom of the pyramid of the society. So that means downgrade identity. I won't in the sky. I want to be more locally touched.
And have you ever had any cases of companies that want to jump to the top of the identity when they can't pull it off, or try to move too early to a comprehensive reframing when they don't have the ability to make that happen yet?
I don't know. Maybe the Nokia. When Nokia, try to jump to the Nokia launched the Virtual version. Virtual, is a quite high quality, high expensive version. It's not, maybe it's a very high quality, but it's not so popular around the world. So Nokia, after the Virtual, what kind of high quality, it downgrade to the more local, more general quality to be sell in India, Pakistan, or even China. Yeah.
Well, I noticed how certain things like smuggling becomes parallel import, to frame it differently, or pirating becomes autonomous innovation.
Yeah. Actually, this story happened now in Pakistan. A few days ago, I saw a TV, a news from the TV. They said the Pakistan people they smuggle the goods to the Pakistan with some scrap metal, but they start to reassemble it together. They make an electric car. The car they make in Pakistan is the way just what happened in Shan-zhai. Yeah.
So how do people pull off the reframing? Like, do you imagine them sitting around and saying in the boardroom, let's try and reframe now? Or do they, do you think they have discussions saying, well, it's too early to reframe, we see opportunities to reframe. How does it emerge in action?
Yeah, reframing is when you see it's necessary to let your talk, your language to be more appealing to the audience you care about.
It's quite interesting how a Taiwanese company, MediaTek, reframed their product as a defender of Chinese national honor.
Oh, yeah. At that time, the China and the Taiwan has a very close relationship. Yeah, so that's it's also consistent with the political ideology.
And have you ever had companies come to you and say, what's your recommendation for how to do framing and reframing and how we should be thinking about it?
Yeah, you have to consistent with your audience. I mean, as you can see, the Shan-zhai's case, Shan-zhai have moved from the pragmatic to the nationalist to the global. Look as a global. When you start, when the Shan-zhai product start, you have to make its product more appealing to the bottom of the pyramid consumer. So it said we are not copycat. We are legal product. We are quite useful. And then as they grow into the become larger and larger, and they said we are product are consistent with the interest of the national society. or so the state has to support our product?
The sample and the interviewee, of course, was the most difficult part of this research. And because we were in that time, we were in Taiwan without any connection from China, especially from Shan-zhai industry. So in order to overcome that problems, so I went to Shenzhen several times. So, but initially I just observed and sitting on the main street to observe. But in that time, I got a yellow book, and
Yellow book is the entry point to the field, you know.
I bought that book from a vendor on the street. Also, the people who sell me that book, yellow book, became my friend. So actually, he took me to visit a lot of manufacturers of the Shan-zhai industry. So that actually was the key or starting point of my research. I thought that I can call the people, but yes, it was really frustrating because I remember I chose 300 companies and made around 800 calls within 1 month, and around 1/3 of the call were invested. Only like 17 or 80 person that talked to me. The interviewee, sorry, most of the contacts in that yellow page, they are high school education, so they were around 20s. So I need to identify the qualified interviewee. Qualifies means that they were capable and they were willing to share their story. So I designed a questionnaire, and it's an open questions. And so through this question, I choose 11 interviewee as my first round interviews. So, and after that is a snowball technique. So finally, I finished 37 interviews within 2 or 3 years. So that's a long journey of my interviews.
A lot of work, a lot of persistence.
A lot of reading.
Yeah, that's I would like to add one point is I remember that Yu-Chun said to me a lot of time, because we are based in Tsinghua University, and a lot of time Taiwan and China has a quite close together, quite close, has a close political relationship. So Yu-Chun was able to leverage her affiliation with the Tsinghua and Taiwan scholar, this kind of position to get access or to get the permission from the interviewee to accept the interview. You know, Tsinghua is a top university in China. There's another Tsinghua in Taiwan. And I also still remember that Yu-Chun told me one time that the interview want to see her advisor. In case Yu-Chun is not a Shan-zhai researcher. He said, maybe you are from the government, you know. So Yu-Chun said, I'm a PhD student, and my advisor is quite important scholar in Taiwan, and we want to study this field. And one or several of her interview don't believe that. She said, we have to see your advisor. So I have to also go to, I also have to went to Shenzhen to interview with Yu-Chun together. Yeah. So we really has this kind of person. We are real. We are not Shan-zhai. Yes.
That's fantastic. Well, this has been really wonderful to learn about what you've done. It's fascinating work. It's kind of a different perspective than we've heard before. Is there anything I didn't cover that you'd like to add?
Interview, you know, one of your interview become your close friend, right?
Two become my close friend. One, actually, so it's quite interesting. One the people who sold me the yellow book, become my swarm brother. Every year in Chinese New Year's, he always send me a greeting card. And so that's the first in my interviewee. And another interviewee, and Pan Tang, he was industry analytics when I visit Shan-zhai industry. But now today he is the management team of the Xiaomi groups. So these two interviewee are quite important during my interview, during my research. They gave me the professional industrial viewpoint, and also another guy, my swarm brother, he gave me some the trick or some subculture viewpoint of the Shan-zhai industry. So I really want to say thank you for these two, my two interviewees.
Yeah, one of them also come to Taiwan, right?
Yes, yes.
To
So
visit, to see you accompany one of them to
Kending.
tour the Taiwan, you know,
Yes,
to
right.
see the Taiwan. Yes.
Yes.
That's a fantastic story. I love to hear stories like that. So it's professional, but also personal.
Yeah,
Yes.
from the professional to personal, that's a quite yeah. It's a and the research goes on. It's a never-ending story because one of the interviewee become the top management team of the Xiaomi. Yeah, we are happy to see how these people move from the bottom to the top. Yeah.
Fantastic. And so you've got lots more research coming up. Do you have next steps in your research that are being planned where this goes next?
I don't know. Maybe Yu-Chun, do you have any research continuing with this following this Shan-zhai story? Yeah. Maybe you can DeepSeek, the competition between the DeepSeek
Okay.
with the ChatGPT or the Xiaomi
Okay.
with the Tesla. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, this is wonderful to talk to you, and I really appreciate your time. And I hope everyone has a chance to read the paper. It's very interesting, well-researched, great ideas. And congratulations again on your MOR award for the paper. Very well done. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you. Thank you, Ray.
Raymond,
Thank
and
you.
thank you, Yu-Chun. It's I said before, that's a really well done. Yeah.
Thank you.